Hi there, my name is Brandon. Today we'll be going over how to complete tasks while on site.
Here we'll be covering how to do walkthroughs on the facility. As you see here, what I like to do is as I'm walking through the facility here, I bring a garbage bag with me and some gloves. Make sure to pick up any basically cigarette butt size pieces of debris or garbage that you may see while doing these walkthroughs. Most important thing is checking these latches, making sure that the units are properly locked and latched and secured. You'll see here there is an improperly locked unit, and that's kind of what it looks like. It wasn't latched all the way over before they went ahead and put the lock on there. So what you're going to do when this happens is to go ahead and take a picture of the lock the way it's latched, and then from there you want to roll up that door and take a picture of what those contents are inside that unit, and then make sure to notify your manager. That way they can reach out to that tenant and try to get that situation figured out. Unfortunately, with the way this is latched, we can't just go ahead and relatch it. We'd have to cut that lock off. So first we try to get a hold of the tenant first before we move forward with cutting it. When walking the facility, you're also going to want to try to pay attention to the lights that are around the facility. They like to gain a lot of cobwebs, spider webs, and just dust and debris from the wind. So do your best to maintain those as well. Just grab a broom and sweep those off as you see here in the clip. Some of our locations may have hallway units, either interior or exterior. Either way, you kind of want to approach them both the same. When you're doing your walkthrough and you're checking these hallway units, if you do see like dirt or cobwebs on the light, go ahead and sweep those out, clean it out like you would just vacant prepping a unit. Make sure it's all nice and clean. Again, always make sure to grab a dustpan and sweep up any sort of dirt and stuff that you may build up while cleaning something. We don't want to be throwing that around the facility. We want to make it as clean as possible. There may be times when you approach a unit and there's no lock on there. Just go ahead and make sure there's nothing inside. If there is, make sure to take a picture of that and notify us so we can reach out to that tenant as well. To let them know that there was no lock on the unit. Sometimes they just leave items behind when they move out, or we do have break-ins as well. So just be vigilant and always make sure to let us know if something going on with the unit. Once you have completed the walkthrough of each row, make sure to take a picture of that row so we can see that it's nice and clean and it's looking how we want it into our standard. After that, the task is complete. Here we'll be covering vacant prepping. First thing you're going to do is open up that unit, check and see if there's any garbage or items left behind. If there is, make sure to take a picture and upload that with the finished pictures at the end. There may be times when you open up a unit and you'll see nails or screws in the wall. Just go ahead and make sure to remove those. Tenants will put those up just to hang things, and we just try to remove those as we can. Make sure that you're using the proper tools as well. You don't want to use a hammer on screws to remove those, because that can damage the wood in the storage unit itself. Alright, so once you have went ahead and removed any sort of structures or nails or screws inside that unit, go ahead, start from top to bottom, getting any sort of cobwebs, dust, all those kind of things that you're going to be wanting to clean out the unit. When you start getting towards the end, go ahead and grab your dustpan and make sure to get all that dust and dirt and little pieces of cobwebs and everything all nice and cleaned up in that dustpan. We don't want to be sweeping any of this stuff back onto the facility. We want to try to keep it nice and clean as possible. Once you've finished sweeping, go ahead and take a picture of the unit with the unit number itself. For this one, it was a little bit hard considering how much space I had in front of the door. So if you have to take multiple pictures, that's more than fine. Here I have an example of how to put the padlock seal on. You're going to want to put these on after vacant prepping every single unit. This is to help us tell if someone's been inside the unit or not. So once that seal is broken, we can easily tell with our walkthrough if the unit has been tampered with. After the padlock seal is on, you want to go ahead and take a picture of the padlock seal on that unit, and that task is complete. I just wanted to add this on the end here. When you're prepping units, also make sure to sweep off any sort of cobwebs, dust, dirt that you may see on the doors. It's not going to be, you know, an every single time thing, but you definitely want to pay attention to that as well and make sure you have a nice presentable unit for customers. For this part of the video, we're going to be covering cutting locks. First thing first, make sure to have your Z87 safety glasses and nice thick leather gloves. Before we get you on site, we want to make sure that you're going to properly cut these locks off to avoid any damage of the latch. So as you see, I have a line drawn on the lock here. That's going to be kind of a good guidance point of where you're going to want to start your cut into these locks. Right here I have an example of what you're going to want it to look like once you do cut it off. As you see, it's just one straight line right above where the circle gets to its lowest point. So what I like to do when I start my cut is to kind of score both sides. That way when I start to go down, it's just a straight even cut all the way down. As you're cutting the lock, always make sure to pause and kind of view and make sure you're not damaging the latch or cutting at the wrong angle. Take it slow and do the job right the first time. That's how we like to do things around here. As you see, no damage to the latch. Went ahead and blew away some metal dust, and that's it. That's that task. Now we're going to be covering overlocking. First step is to take a picture of the lock in front of that unit number. Make sure to include the serial code as you see in the example right here. Once you do that, go ahead and put the lock on the unit and make sure to scramble the lock there as you see me do in the video. Once that's completed, go ahead and take a secondary picture of the unit. Make sure to include the unit number as you see in this example as well. So the next thing we'll be going over is our scissor lock devices we use also for overlocking. There may be times where you may not be able to fit the lock in the latch, so we just use the scissor lock as another way of overlocking. As you see here, I just slide it right in there and close it just like a scissor. Slide the lock through the hole there and scramble that dial and you're good to go there. Scissor locks may also be used sometimes for overlocking vessel trailers or just regular utility trailers in general. So here is going to be our overlocking plate. Some latches require different types of overlocking devices. The latch you see here in the video does require this kind. So as you see, here's an example of me putting the lock on. Here's a couple pictures of what it's supposed to look like when you do put that overlock plate on the latch. So once you get the plate on the latch there, go ahead and put the lock on there and make sure you take your follow-up pictures like normal and you're good to go. So in overlocking vehicles, we do have a couple devices we use. Here is one of them. It's called the wheel lock. So with the wheel lock, it's probably my favorite way to do it because it's just a lot quicker and easier than using the chain and padlock method. All you have to do is slide both sides together and it automatically locks in place and you'll be good to go. The next method we use is the good old chain and lock technique. So as you see here in the video, you just slide the covered chain through the tire there. It does take a little bit of finagling. It's not very hard though. Once you get the lock slid through the wheel, go ahead and lock it up and you'll be good to go for that task. So that covers the basis of overlocking for any of our facilities. If anything pops up that's not covered here, just let us know and we will help you as the best we can. Thank you. Now we're going to be covering auction prepping. Once you have the lock removed, you're going to want to go ahead and I guess kind of assess the situation. All storage units, as far as auctions, they're always going to be different. Sometimes you may not be able to just walk in there and kind of take pictures as I'm able to do here in this clip. Now that you've kind of assessed the situation of the auction unit itself, go ahead and start taking your pictures. We try to get at least around 5. Sometimes you can get more than that. You know, if you can, great. If not, then try to get at least as much of that unit as possible. Sometimes you'll open a door and the unit is stuffed top to bottom, front to back. So you can only do so much with that. So always just try to do the best you can when taking these pictures, and make sure if you see any sort of key items to take pictures of those and to notify us so we can kind of see what we want to do with that moving forward. Once you're done with your pictures, go ahead and lock the unit back up, make sure it's all good to go, and from there you're done. I decided to add a couple extra example pictures of a different storage unit and kind of how I approached this one. This one was pretty full, as you can see. The door opens and that's about it. And for this unit in particular, I saw a couple decent key items. Right there is looks like a gold mining trough of some sort. There's also a laptop and computer and printer. And right here, it looks like it's a pontoon boat, possibly some camping equipment. So those are all big, high items that people like to get in these auctions.
So now that you've finished watching the instructional video, we hope that you have all the information you need to complete the tasks that are given to you while on site. If you have any questions, please ask us. We're more than happy to answer those questions for you. And until then, we hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.